Hi, I've just put together a fairly short and simple demonstration just to try and give you a little bit of a flavour of what the document control solution looks like that we're proposing for yourselves. Some of the things that we really like about this particular solution is, from a user's perspective, it doesn't get much simpler or faster in terms of a learning curve, and I believe that's partly because the interface that this uses on users' PCs and laptops is actually based on Windows Explorer, which is a common component that your users will be familiar with already. Now, as you can see from my desktop, I've set up what we refer to as a smart folder already, and this is represented with a tick in the circle on the front of the folder, which actually just highlights the fact that this folder has already been synchronized with remote sites, and there hasn't been any changes that have yet to be updated. To open the folder, it's just very simply a case of clicking on it, as you do with any other folders, and you can now see the Windows Explorer interface, which again you're most likely to be already familiar with. I've set a project folder up under this, and again if I click on the projects folder, then I've set up a number of individual project folders up, and depending on how your data and your file structure is already organized, there's a whole number of ways that this can be set up, but this is really just a very simple demo just to start and give you a bit of a flavor of how it works and how you may be able to use it in your environment. If you can imagine, if I'm based in Sheffield and I want to check and see if anybody else has dropped any new documents or files into the Sheffield Office folder that are waiting for download, if I just put my cursor over the smart folder, right click on it, click on SVN update, it'll now kick a process off where my laptop is now connecting with the remote server. In this case it's completed very quickly because there are no documents, and it's just confirmed that the process is completed, so I can close it down. Equally, if I'd added any new documents into the folder and I wanted to push them up to Leamington, it's just exactly the same process. Right click on the folder, go to SVN commit. In this case it's telling me there are no additional documents. If there were, I'd just click on that as OK, and again it'll tell me that it's finished once they have done. Now if there's a document in the system, and I've dropped a couple of sample documents in here, and what I want to do is create a working copy on my laptop or PC, all I have to do is put my cursor on the document that I want to create a copy of, right click on it, and then drag that document across to where I want to place it on my desktop, release, and it will come up with three options. The most common that people tend to use is either copy the document here, or to actually completely move the document out of the system on the desktop. What I actually want to do is create a copy, so I'm just going to click on that, and as you'll see, that creates a copy on my desktop, but it also leaves the original and current file within the document control system as well. I'm now in a position where I can close that window down, have a copy of the document I wanted to get hold of, and I can now open that in whatever application or AutoCAD system and continue working on it as I would do. If you can imagine that I've now made whatever changes to the document that I want to make, and I now want to load it back into the system and then push those changes back up to Leamington. It's pretty much the process in reverse. Open the folder, go to where the document is, and then it's just a case of I can just drag and drop it into that folder. Now, because that particular file already exists with that name, it's coming up with a couple of options. I can just simply save it and overwrite the existing file that's there, so there's just a copy of the latest file. I can choose not to move it, or I can choose to add it and keep both files, in which case the last file will be renamed to version 2. In this case, I'm just going to simply overwrite the existing file, come out, and then if I right click, go to SVN commit, and I can use this as a method of uploading the files back up. Now in this particular case, because I didn't actually change anything in the document, the system knows there's no changes, and therefore it's not giving me a list of documents that would be ready to upload. So if I just click OK, it'll go through the process, tell me there's nothing there and it's finished already. I know everything's fully synced, and I can come out of the system. One of the things that you wanted to be able to do was for a user to be able to check out and lock a file whilst working on it in OneOffice, just to make sure nobody else goes into the same file and starts making different changes and you're in a position where there's multiple versions of the same project. Again, this is very simple to do, so if I just find a file that I want to check out, it's just a case of right click on it, it'll open up the short menu, and I'm going to go down to Tortoise SVN and across to the option where it says get lock. If I click on that, I now have an option to enter a short message which will be available to other users, so I'm just quite simply going to add in checked out by Mark Hutchinson, and if I click OK, again it's checked it out very quickly and confirm that. It's not actually possible to show you what that looks like on another PC, as I'm actually doing this recording from my screen, but if I now went to try and access that document from another PC, either in the same or another office, there'd be a padlock at the side of it, and if anybody went to try and open that document, they'd be able to see the message that said it's been checked out by Mark Hutchinson. Users in other offices will know somebody's got it checked out, but they also have the option to open a read-only copy of the file, just in case they want to check something, but they wouldn't be in a position to make any modifications to it until that particular file has been checked in. And again, checking files back in and unlocking them is a very simple process. It's just quite simply a case, right click on the file, go down to Tortoise SVN, release the lock, click OK, the system's confirmed that it's unlocked and finished, click OK, and that's that actually done. There is a small chance of a user forgetting to unlock a document and going out of the office for site visits or meetings, in which case there is an option within there where there's actually an option for stealing the locks. And again, this comes down to more process, because if you use, no user should really steal the lock on any document until he's checked with the person that has locked it and it has been confirmed that it's an oversight. But if I tick that box and clicked OK, it would steal the lock on that particular document. And again, hopefully this has just kind of demonstrated some of the bits of common functionality that you may want to use, or that you've highlighted that you want to use, and it starts to give you a bit of a flavour for how it works. Thank you very much for watching this. I'll follow up with Beverly in a couple of days' time, and if I could get some feedback from you all at that point, that would be appreciated as a starting point. Thank you.